Welcome to the latest edition of Write with Carla Reviews. If you don't know who I am, you should. I am Write with Carla. I am an author. I do romance for myself. I am a ghostwriter. I write all topics from real estate to marketing to self-love to memoirs for my clients who want to write a book but don't have the time. I am also an author coach for people who want to write their own books, but they just don't know how. That's who I am. So I did a movie review at the end of 2019, and I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting. So I'd like to talk about A Fall from Grace from a writer's perspective. All a buzz with Tyler Perry's new Netflix movie, A Fall from Grace. I saw some tremendous reviews. I saw some very lackluster reviews, and I thought, well, I'll just watch it for myself. So I go into watching it, clear mind, clear heart, no expectations, and I tried not to really read the reviews, just thumbs up or thumbs down. It's like you love it or you hate it. There was no middle ground. So I thought, okay, let's watch it and I'll tell the people what I think. Copious notes. Of course, I watched the movie and I know how I feel about it, but there were a few things that I really wanted to point out, and I wanted to capture how I felt about those things at that time, get it in the moment. So the first thing that I noticed, not the first thing, but the one thing that really made me like, how many black women do you know take showers without shower caps? Okay, all right. So the best part of the movie to me was quite possibly in the beginning. There's a scene where Grace and Felicia Rashad's character are sitting on the couch, and I'm guessing this is early on in their friendship, and they're having a real like homegirl type conversation, and you can really tell that he's able to embody female energy at this point, because you've heard in the interviews where he said he grew up around women. So this is like typical church gossip, typical beauty shop gossip, typical, hey girl, come to my house, have a glass of wine or a mug of tea, and let's just unpack this thing on out. So you have Grace talking about her marriage, how it ended, how she feels, and being a woman who has gone through that transition. I found her feelings were valid and they were on point. And I thought, okay, Tyler, all right, boo, I got you. Yeah. It was great. And then I realized quickly that was the highlight of the movie. So what you will find is the typical Tyler Perry, his unique storytelling perspective. So as an author, and as an author coach, when I'm coaching my clients, I tell them, show, don't tell. You show a character's emotions through their actions. You show their motive through their actions or their conversation. You show where they're coming from by giving a hint of their past, but you don't tell the audience verbatim what is happening. Like, show us what happened. So you have that whole, in the Spike Lee movies, the people are talking and they're just moving as they talk, and you know that it's Spike Lee because they're moving as they talk. Same thing, Tyler Perry, you have action and then there's voiceover over the action. Like, just make the action substantial enough to stand on its own. We don't need the character talking us through it. Just show us what it is that we need to see. That part kind of bothered me. But I did like the hint of foreshadow when Queen Cicely came out and she was like, oh. So you see her and then you don't. She's here today, gone today and a half. Like, they really snatched her up out of that scene in literally 3 seconds. If you blinked, you missed her. So I knew right there, she's gonna play a pivotal role in the movie. And of course, because it's Cicely Tyson, but you don't have a queen in your movie with that type of a record without using her. And since she was here and gone, I knew that her pivotal role would probably be later in the end. And it will come from some mumbo jumbo, because that's how he set the scene up. You see Felicia Rashad just gently, not so gently, pushing her out of the frame. So that was a good foreshadow. But when Shannon is the main male character, when he goes from overly sappy, like ridiculously loving, to I hate the air that you breathe, it was like, wait, what happened? What happened? There was no transition. It was just like, I love you, you are the queen of the earth. And then it was, girl, get out of my face, I can't stand you. I thought to myself, who does that in real life? But I guess he was trying to create a stark contrast between this man who was able to get this older woman to fall in love with him, even though he totally, completely does not look like anything she would ever give more than a 2-second conversation to the man who is going to take her for a loop, which we all saw coming. So that contrast was a little harsh for me. I felt, again, if he showed us instead of telling us, he could have showed the transition. You can show a transition quickly and make it seem like it's happened over time, but Tyler Perry just went from, yeah, baby, you know, let me get that thing, to, don't tell me what to do, don't talk to me, don't look at me, don't accuse me, I don't stand for this, you deserve me. It went from hot to cold, hot to cold, really, really quickly. But somebody pointed something out to me. I had a conversation with someone who I love with the infinite depths of my heart, and he said that the colorism is what struck him. And I thought, colorism? I didn't really see any colorism. But he said in Tyler Perry movies and plays, you have this dark-skinned man who is an abuser, he is a beater, he is a womanizer, makes the woman feel like she's the scum of the earth. He doesn't need her, he doesn't want her. Then you have a light-skinned brother to come in and save the day. He's her savior. And I thought, well, no, I can't. And then he started naming movies, and I was like, oh yeah, light skin, Hispanic, light skin. Okay, I can see that. He said Tyler Perry has a hint of colorism that cannot escape his pen. And it could be subconscious, where it's just happening, or the casting directors just feel like light-skinned brothers with curly hair or horrible braids need to come in and save the day. I don't know, but he brought in that hint of colorism. And then speaking further to the point of colorism versus feminism, digging a little deep. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Okay. There's always the woman who feels, well, he finds the most downtrodden, hurt, heartbroken, down on her luck female, and then proceeds to break her down even further. So she's already at her wit's end. She's already barely making it through life. Then he breaks her down further, only for her to be saved at the end. So even though Grace wasn't all the way down on her luck when the movie started out, she was. So by the time Shannon comes in, she's living her life. She's peaceful. She's not, traveling the globe or jumping from the rooftops singing with glee, but she's living her life and she's good. She has a friend who she thinks is one of her good friends who loves her, but Shannon just comes and disrupts her whole life. It's like, what are your intentions with me? I know that we aren't really a fit, so what we doing here, cuz? What's going on? She should have left homeboy right where he was. We all have seen people who look like heartbreaking bad decisions. Grace should have left his butt right where he was. And the mismatch for me in age and style was a problem. I think I guess they say opposites attract, but it still feels a little forced for her to have fallen for someone like that. Then we have the courtroom scene. What did you think about the courtroom scene? Leave me a comment. Tell me right now. What did you think about the courtroom scene? I thought Felicia Rashad is going to blow this thing up. I knew that they were going to have to put her on the stand. I knew, because she was the onlyest person in Grace's corner. The onlyest. So I knew they had to put her on the stand. But what I was not expecting was such a lackluster exchange. I mean, my girl Felicia was like, she just couldn't keep it together. She couldn't hold it together. And maybe that's what he wanted us to see. Like, you think Felicia is in her corner all along, and then you find out when she was like, oh, she said she killed him. It's like, really, sis? Really? Okay. I guess so. I thought again that Tyler Perry was going to take the lawyer who seems downtrodden on her luck. She's not heartbroken. She has a husband who supports her, a light-skinned husband, but she, in her career, is being downtrodden and talked down to and feeling like her back is up against the wall. I thought he was going to come in and have her rise to the occasion, stand up and be the woman that she is, go forth and save this case. That did not happen. I was very disappointed in the courtroom scene. That should have been a pivotal moment, kind of like in To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh my goodness. That movie was so amazing. And I'm talking, that was like 20 some years ago. And I'm still talking about the courtroom scene because it was that good. So I think if you are a fan of Tyler Perry, I am in no way trying to decrease this brother's merit. Obviously, he doesn't care who I am. I'm just a peon. He is a billionaire, successful Black man who has written several plays and movies and TV shows, and he writes all of his stuff. So I'm not trying to downplay his craft. I just feel that if he were to have a few people like, hey, let me help you write a scene, or let me read through this and make a few more edits, that it could have gone full circle. It could have been the dynamic movie it set out to be. The ending was totally unexpected, but because of the buildup, because of the voiceovers, and because of the storytelling and not showing, the ending just kind of fell flat. So tell me what you think. Leave me a comment. Or if there's another movie that you'd like to see me do. I think I'm going to kind of get into this movie review thing from a writer's perspective. So if there's anything else you'd like to see a review on, shoot me a DM or an inbox, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time,